No worries. Yeah, so like I said, so the course for the Ivan course is going to start in June. That's when I joined the course. It's going to go to August when we get all the information is released by the time August rolls around.
Sure.
It's released in like increments. So like modules are released every twice a week, I think is how it worked.
Yeah.
And yeah, you study the material and stuff throughout that time. Then you go and write the written exam. So the written exam is the first part of the testing for the certification. So you'll go to Florida, you go to Plant City, which is where his place is there.
Yeah.
And you'll spend a weekend there. It's called the Trainer's Weekend. So during that weekend, you'll kind of meet all the other people that are in the course with you, that have been taking the test with, that are going to be taking the test with you. And it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you do 2 days of basically lectures and learning with Ivan, like in person, which is it's tons of fun. It's really cool. He makes it such a fun experience to go learn from him there.
Yeah.
And then, you'll, even after the class and stuff, you'll hang out with everybody, have drinks and stuff with everybody. It's kind of a bit of a fun little party, honestly. And so there's 2 days of that. And then on the Sunday in the morning, you write the exam, and you write the exam, kind of goes into the testing and writes it. Once you're done, again, everybody kind of hangs out after the test and drinks and just hangs out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is, again, it's tons of fun. It's a good environment. And then you go home, and then you find out if you passed the test or not after that. Like, about a week later, you'll find out. I failed the test the first time around. I didn't pass it the first time, which is pretty typical. It seems to be the case. So I ended up going back again in November, which was the second writing. So when you go back to write it, you'll be with like kind of a new group of people, plus the people that maybe didn't pass with you, which is a good portion of the class. You rewrite the exam. It's going to be a different exam, same concepts, obviously, same ideas, but different questions for the most part. You do the exam, and so this time I passed. The second time around, I passed the written exam, which was exciting. That's a big achievement in and of its own. Some people don't even make it past that. It's a pretty difficult exam. And so then you go into the practical portion of the certification, which I've been finding is maybe the more difficult part, which I thought was going to be the easier part. But the practical is basically where you have to film and demonstrate you applying the concepts to a dog. And I don't know. I don't want to give too much away because I don't know what's available for the public to kind of know about the practical examination. But basically, you just have to demonstrate some behaviors trained through the TWC methodology is basically the whole idea of it. You film, I think you got to film like 5 videos of each of these behaviors you got to perform. And then Ivan will review them, and you find out whether you passed or not. So again, I've recently sent in my practical exam videos in January. And I had some things I needed to fix and adjust with them. So I've recently sent in my newest set of practical videos to find out if they pass the test or not. And then once I do that and pass that, then we become certified. So
yeah.
So it's quite a process, from start to finish. It can take a full year. The cool thing about it, and I don't know, maybe we talked about it last time. I don't know how much I knew about it last time we talked. That was a while ago, but you get a year to do it basically. So you pay the fee for the course, and you have a full year to do. Got it. Take the course, review the information, take the test, pass the test. Then once you pass the test, you can do the practical. So if you don't pass, and the testing is only done every 3 months or so, and sometimes I think they don't even do it every 3 months. So you might only have 3 opportunities in a full year to write the test, right?
Yeah.
So then if you don't pass the test, you got to do it again, and then you got to do it again. And once you start closing in on like, okay, I only got 3 months left to do the practical now, it's like, that's a short period of time I'm coming to find,
Mm-hmm.
I still have quite a bit of time. I finished my testing within 6 months. So I still have, I still have like 4 months till June, basically to complete the practical. So I have lots of time.
Yeah. But
man, like it's especially if you don't have access to dogs, like me and you would, it's it can be really difficult to get this stuff done, Yeah. So I imagine it's pretty stressful.
Yeah. What, so you said you obviously failed it the first time, and you said that seems like it,
yes,
a decent amount of people do, obviously. What sorts of things did you find that you struggled with on it, that, took you to the second time to kind of get right? Well, like what sorts of things in that's not the practical side. That's what did you call it? The first half of it?
The written exam. Yeah.
The written exam. Yeah. Yeah. So what types of things were in it that you found were, the ones that you struggled with?
Yeah, so it's a lot of theory, and like theory and like scientific, just scientific terminology and stuff like that, and the understanding of that, which I feel like I did pretty good with that for the most part. But then there's the conceptual side of it, like applying those concepts and applying the theory and that stuff to the actual concepts of TWC, and that's where I found I kind of got like, especially as somebody that had quite a bit of experience training and doing things differently than maybe the TWC way, you can kind of get stuck on some of the answers of like, maybe not answering them like, not necessarily answering them like as they're supposed to be. You might answer them like, you think of it like, let's think of something like,
can you use like an example that might describe it? Yeah.
Yeah. Even just like, let's say we're talking about like, okay, so like a good example would be like a lot of people will like put in things like, let's say we have a nervous dog. What's one of the things that we're going to, so I guess I should explain like how the test works. It's a lot of multiple choice questions. It's about like, I would say a good portion of multiple choice, not even a good portion, maybe half multiple choice, something like that. And then the other half, and obviously the more heavily, examined part of it, the heavily graded part of it is going to be the written portions of the exam, like the written long word answers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's where basically like, you'll either get a question and you'll be expected to write like the answer, and that might be something like, what is the difference between, avoidance and escape in escape and avoidance learning? It'll be something like that, Yeah. And then you might have to write out the answer to that, right? And the even more heavily graded parts is going to be the, like you're going to get a video clip of like, maybe it's going to be like a dog. It's going to be a quick video clip of a dog doing a behavior, whether it's like, doing a bad behavior with an owner present or something like that. You're going to get a pretty quick video clip and then be expected to answer a question about that clip. Like, how would you go about resolving this problem using TWC methodology or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And so just as an example, let's say you get a video clip of like a fearful dog, and a lot of people, like especially with like past experience training stuff, they'll say like, how are you gonna fix the relationship with the dog, right? And it's going to be like, oh, I would use like, positive reinforcement and food to build a relationship with the dog or something along those lines, right? And that's going to be an instant failure right there in the TWC course, because he wants to know, how are you going to build a relationship with the dog? What are you going to do to build a relationship with the dog? And understanding the methods of TWC and like, what are you going to be able to do to build a relationship with the dog? Things like that, right? Or if you say, you're going to punish a behavior, like how are you going to punish the behavior? What's that going to look like, right? You can't just say you're going to punish something, right? So it's really being able to dive deep into those concepts and the answers that you give.
Yeah.
Without overdoing it as well. It's cool the way they do it. Like I said, it's kind of stressful because it's like you get like a quick video clip and then you're expected to answer like, how would you solve this problem, basically? And it's like, some people will write like pages of information. Some people will just write like little blurbs kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And everybody might, you might pass with either or, but it's really just making sure you dove into the actual concepts and understood those concepts of TWC when you answered the question,
Yeah.
That's going to be like the biggest thing. So when I failed the first time around, that was kind of part of the issue. And then the other issue is like, just answering it like you're a trainer, like you're talking to a client, like you're a TWC trainer, like don't get too into the jargon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was another big thing that I found is important.
That's tough because it's like, I don't want to say it's like subjective, right? But like a lot of the answers, he's looking for a very particular type of answer, obviously. But if it's the way I'm understanding, which is like you literally just have a section to write something out in, right? It's like, you could, I know if I was sitting in front of that test, I would just be like, I don't know exactly what he's looking for. So I'm going to just write everything. Have like fucking page long responses to everyone, right?
Yes. And people will do that, right? And it's like I said, it's like, I don't know, like that's not always a bad thing. Like, especially this is the thing, like if the answers are in there, then you got it, you'll still get it. Right. But you just have to show that you understood, like I said, the concepts, right? It's again, like for me, like I I write pretty short answers. Like realistically, like I write pretty short answers
Sure.
for the most part with that stuff. But yeah, it's just being able to break it down. And he's not looking for a specific answer. You could answer it a different way than somebody else.
Got it.
Again, as long as you kind of covered the concepts, right? And as long as you covered what you learn throughout the course.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah. And I'm assuming he is the one teaching everything. Is that correct? I know you said a lot of it's like online.
Yeah, he teaches everything.
Stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, all of it. So basically must have filmed it. I don't know when he filmed it, but they must have done at some point, they must have done like a multiple week or like a 1 week or 2 week course at his place and filmed the whole thing.
Got it.
And that's what the course's content is taken from, is this long, basically like week-long lecture, however long lecture. But again, and that sounds boring, like when you say it like that, but man, he's a great teacher, and
Sure.
the way he sets up the class and stuff is just, it's really captivating. And the information you learn is just so engaging. But yeah, it's basically just like lectures and stuff. And, slideshow lecture kind of material. There is also some especially, they've been adding different modules and stuff because they're still expanding on the course.
Sure.
So they've been adding lectures from other people like Dr. Mark Polonsky and stuff like that. Different lectures from people like him. But otherwise, it's mostly all the stuff that you need to learn is Ivan's teaching.
Yeah.
And demonstrations. There's a lot of demonstration videos and stuff throughout the course as well. And then when you go there for the weekend, same thing. It's mostly Ivan teaching, but he'll have guest speakers come out and stuff. We didn't have any guest speakers when I went, but it's mostly, it's all him doing the teaching.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Because I would say, excuse me, not to shit on anybody else by any means, but like the other big schools, obviously Bart's gold and platinum school and all of that he does. And at this point, it seems like his big goal is just scaling his school as big as possible. And basically he just certifies somebody up to platinum, and then he has that person out teaching the course. Right. And I don't think he himself is doing much teaching, or his wife, Michelle or whoever it is.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like I know, like,
I think they call it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they call it the gold multiplicator or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Gold multiplicator.
That's what they call it. Yeah. There's definitely a little restricted trademark symbol at the end of that too.
Yeah.
So, sounds a little pyramid.
Don't forget to include that.
It does sound a little bit pyramid-y. And the other thing that kills me too is like there's people that are, I'm sure, phenomenal trainers, right? That I see that graduate the program and go on to teach it. But in some cases, like I saw like a picture recently of one of the instructors with like a couple people that went through the course, and the person that was going through the course, I don't know personally, but I know of this individual, and it is a very, very, very established, very good trainer that was learning from somebody that probably knows the content well, right, and knows the material well. But I would argue if that individual has half of the credentials as the other person does, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And it was just like a little bit weird because it's like you almost like, I think Ivan says a lot of times, like you want to go to the horse's mouth for some of this kind of stuff, and it's like I could go take these courses, and you could take these courses, and you're going to have a great understanding of the TWC program, right? But at the end of the day, there will inevitably be questions that are presented that it's like, unless you created it, you're not necessarily going to know the answers to that, right?
Yeah.
which is tough, So that's why I like that Ivan is currently at least doing it all himself, and he's not having other people come in and do the teaching and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go do some snooping and see who this person is you're talking about, because I'm trying to think of it and I don't think I've seen that yet, but I'd probably know if I saw it. But it's I don't know. I'm into it. Like I'm cool with that too. Like if you're especially if you're what you're teaching is easy enough to teach and like get out to the masses, then go for it. But at the same time, again, I think especially from what I know about NePoPo, it's a pretty intricate system and it takes a lot of skill. So I don't think it's something that you're gonna be learning in and I don't think the point is to learn in a weekend. I mean, I do think most of their schools are like weekend things, but maybe they do online stuff too to supplement that. I don't know. But still, it's one of those systems, especially that it's you don't want people going out and teaching NAPO courses to just the masses and everybody getting e-collars and trying to do low-level e-collar stim conditioning with the dogs and stuff. It's just, again, that's a one-way ticket to e-collars getting banned. It really is, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What, obviously you said you're still going through the course. I don't want you to obviously be talking on behalf of TWC by any means, but what would you say have been some of your biggest takeaways from it so far?
Yeah, I think at this point now it's I could probably speak pretty much fully about it because it's
understood.
Once I get the certification, obviously, then it's a little easier to talk about that kind of thing. But it's still, regardless, I've done the course and everything like that. I've been in the program now for almost the better part of 6 months. I think. What was your question again? Say it again. Sorry.
Yeah, just some of your biggest takeaways, and when I say that, I mean really again, not the secrets and all that kind of stuff, but what is it that really opened your eyes to you spent a good chunk of change. I think it's $10,000 to do this program, right? What have been some things that you, as an already established trainer, you went into it and you were like, wow, these are actually new concepts that are being explained to me in a way that I just didn't. That didn't resonate before, or you just didn't know before or whatever.
Yeah, no, of course. The biggest thing for me is just getting the dogs to a place where every dog enjoys the training regardless of what the dog is and regardless of what the behavior issues are to some extent, right? There's going to be rough moments during the training process, especially with behavior issues and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean the whole process needs to be boot camp. We're going to, you're coming to boot camp now and we're going to fix this issue and we're going to get you in line and your owner's going to reinforce this. Your owner's the drill sergeant now. Yeah. We don't need that. Dogs, no matter what the behavior concern is, in my opinion, really no dog needs that. Yes, there are some issues that need more structure, management, etc. But it's never, maybe you've heard the term, the gun to the head terminology. Maybe you've heard that before in regards to behavior training and e-collar use and stuff like that, where the dog, always needs to be under lock and key. They always need to be on their place bed. They always need to have that e-collar on and turned up and stuff. It's and this is all stuff I would have subscribed to previously, especially when dealing with these more significant behavior modification cases. But now going through the course, I realize there's a totally different way to do it. There's a totally different way to look at it. And it gets you to a much better place with the dog and with the owner, there's something owners, especially them seeing their dogs just happy and enjoying training, especially a dog that maybe was nervous and fearful and aggressive even, them seeing their dogs opening up and enjoying things maybe they're not, maybe that doesn't mean they're seeing their dogs, walking around Lowe's or something like that with a muzzle on and their tail down, ears tucked back or anything like that. Maybe it means they're seeing their dog chase a ball in a park or something near a pathway where there's other dogs walking around. And that's what this individual dog's capabilities are. And this is what it enjoys doing. And this is what you can do with this dog. You know what I mean? Maybe we have this aggressive dog that we need to train, but maybe it's not going to enjoy going to a place Home Depot with a patio with you, but there's all these other things you can do with it to help it enjoy life. It doesn't need to be just constant stress and management and punishment, right? And so that's one of the biggest things for me, just learning how to take on these more severe cases with a different approach that gets you to a way better place. And I look at things I look at other trainers. I don't want to say any names because it's and I like these people. I respect these people, but these people that deal with significant behavior modification stuff, these aggressive dogs, so to speak, right? Where, they show the dog coming into the building with a muzzle on, trying to lunge at the trainer. And then the trainer's taking the leash and right away they're cutting to them doing e-collar work to teach the dog to come closer to them with e-collar stim. The dog's terrified of them, has a muzzle on and wants to leave them.
The old reverse perception trick. The old reverse perception trick. Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, I used to do this stuff, but now that I see that there's so many better ways to do it, I don't subscribe to it. It's I see the silliness of it, but you see the dog's still clearly terrified of being anywhere near them or in that room with them. Sure, it's coming to you, but it's not for the right reasons. And that's the big thing is getting dogs to do things for the right reasons, right? Not just getting them to do things because we can, or because we think that that's what they need to be doing. It's like, just take a couple extra days and get that dog to want to approach you. Yeah, that might mean maybe that means you need to wear a bite suit for the first 2 days handling this dog. Maybe that means your kennel techs can't take it out. Maybe it means you actually have to do the dirty work kind of thing for a couple of days of dealing with it until you can build a real relationship with the dog, right? And we talked about it last time where it's like, unless you do that, unless you actually take the time to build that relationship, you never actually get to know the dog. You never train that dog. You're training some different version of that dog that's in your presence versus the dog that's going to go home to that owner, which is a dog that has a relationship with its owner. And it's, I'm not saying you need to let it do all the stupid shit that the owner lets it do, but you still the dog needs to be itself before you can actually train that dog. Right. Yeah. And I think that unless you know how to do that, especially with a fearful dog, especially with like an aggressive dog, you're not going to get to the same place. It's just going to be suppression and it's not going to look good. The dog's not going to be happy. The owner might be, somewhat happy at first until they realize their dog's just like, a crippled mess or a shut down mess. And then they get tired of it quick and, the suppression goes away kind of thing. And you go down a rabbit hole with that. But like I said, that's the biggest difference is just knowing how to take on these cases from a different lens of like, what is this dog capable of doing? What does this dog want to do? And what can I use to kind of harness that to make the dog better, right? To kind of fix some of these issues, to give the dog back to the owner with a more confident and capable dog. Again, there's always limitations on what we can do with every dog, and understanding that is so important because again, it's like, I might have like a year ago or a year and a half ago, I might have taken a dog in and be like, yeah, we could get this dog to go on a patio. Yeah, we could get this dog to walk around Lowe's and we can get this dog to, sit on its place bed in a room full of strangers and stuff like that. It's like, we can get it to do that stuff too, like through the TWC method and stuff, but it's not like, that's not what our sole focus is. That's not what we're going into our training program focused on, right? That's like going to be a byproduct of the training is getting the control in the relationship with the dog where we can ask them to do these things or we can put them in these difficult situations and they kind of trust and have the confidence to get through it when we need to do it,
Yeah.
But again, like, there's certain dogs that they don't need to do that stuff.